Okay, welcome back. What I wanted to show you, I'm in Denarau. I'm in Denarau in Nadi. This is Fiji's best spot for tourism, and I want to show you how COVID has affected tourism in Fiji, tourism in Nadi, in this resort area, but also tourism in Fiji. So let's just have a look around. You'll notice this is where all the boats are moored. Most of these boats are owned by people who own these villas in the area. You'll find some of the most exclusive real estate in the country, and some of the most exclusive real estate in the South Pacific here in Denarau. Those are some of those boats that almost certainly belong to some of the villa owners you'll see. Just over here, hoving into view, just over here are the cruise boats that take you to some of the outer islands. This is where you can go on a cruise for a couple of days, even for a day's cruise. But most of these boats are idle. There is one cruise that's coming up on the 18th. But it isn't, as you'd expect, it isn't a normal service. There is no such thing as normality in the age of the pandemic. There is no normality at the moment. Most of these wonderful catamaran boats that go on cruises are almost invariably booked out weeks and months, even months in advance. But at the moment, there is only one cruise that's coming up on the 18th of December, and I can still get tickets for it, and there is a 60% discount if you happen to be a local. So here we go. This is the premier tourist destination for Fiji. This is where it all happens. This is December. This is the middle of December. It's the peak time of the year, and normally this place is overrun with tourists. You will find tourists. In fact, you'll be hard pressed to move about because there are just so many tourists. But now it is completely and utterly devoid of tourists. It's so empty that it's quite sad. It's quite tragic. That's one of Fiji's biggest cruise ships, just over there, Captain Cook Cruises. And they're actually, I found out that they're the ones that are going on a cruise on the 18th of December. And I mean, it's selling up pretty quickly, but I can still get tickets for it. There are lots of berths available for a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day cruise. But anyway, coming to the end of this pier here, just show you what it's like at the end here. You'll see the mountains in the distance there. Those are the mountains of Nadi. And there's a little island over there. There is this boat here called the Whale's Tail. But as I was saying, you know, it's just this place is just so empty. And as I said earlier, this is the This ought to be the busiest time of the year for Fiji. This is when tourists, especially from Australia and New Zealand, flock here in their thousands. And this place, all of this area called Port Denarau, is flooded, usually flooded with tourists in December 2020. It's usually flooded with tourists, but there is not a single tourist about. And a bit later, I'll take you on a little voyage round the hotels. But there you have it. This is what COVID-19 has done to tourism in Fiji. It has made this place, which is one of the biggest tourist destinations in the South Pacific. Denarau, not just Denarau, not just the Port Denarau where I am at the moment, but all the hotels, all the top names in hotels are just a couple of minutes away. They are usually overflowing with tourists, but not at the moment. So I'll take you into, it's hot, it's really hot, and that's what the tourists like. They love coming to Fiji, to Nadi. Nadi's on the western side of Fiji. This is where it's dry and it's, they live in a rain shadow, as opposed to the south and the east, opposed to where the capital Suva is, where it rains most of the time. This is the dry part of Fiji, and it's usually dry and it's sunny, and that's why all the resorts are located on this side. And this is where all the tourists flock to. They all come here. They all come here to lie on the beach and to go on these various cruises, but it's empty. Let's just as I said, I'll take you. I'll show you the resorts. The resorts are absolutely. The only people likely to be staying at the resorts are locals, and even those are far and few between. Because there is just nothing going on. I mean, if you're going to be a local, if you're going to stay at one of the resorts, you'll expect some sort of activity, but there's nothing going on. How are you doing, all right?
Very good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How's business?
Well, business is good. We just opened yesterday.
Okay, why were you shut?
We just opened our new Mexican restaurant.
Oh, okay, I see. That's why you opened yesterday, because it's a new restaurant.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, looks good. I'll come back a bit later.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
you have a lovely day.
Yeah, thanks, dear. Well, there you go. That's one business strategy, to open during a pandemic. So this is the main hub, the Port Denarau, where people are usually gathered to have, and it's nearly lunchtime. It's 20 past 12. At any other time of the year, when there isn't a pandemic on, you'll find this place full of people, full of diners. But like I said, we're living in the age of a pandemic. There is the coronavirus. There are no cases out in the community in Fiji, but even still, we are living in the aftershock of how the pandemic has gripped the rest of the world and how this government has closed its borders for the time being. There is a vaccine on the way. There is a vaccine, and the vaccine has been rolled out in the United Kingdom, and it's slowly being taken up in a few other places around the world. There's been no announcement in Fiji on when the vaccine will be launched here, but as I said, we're living in the aftermath of this pandemic, and so we are lumbered with how the rest of the world is suffering.
Hola.
How are you? How's business?
Good.
I know this guy. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah? How's, it must be very slack, eh?
Yes.
Because this place normally, this time last year was so busy, wasn't it?
Yes.
And now look at it. And where's Layla? She's never around, is she? She hardly ever comes in.
She does, but you
She
always
does?
miss her.
Oh, okay, I always miss her. Yeah, let's have a quick look inside. And it's very quiet. You've got a Christmas tree over there. Okay. So in all this coverage, I overlooked to mention that it's Christmas. Christmas in the tropics.
People then dry out and have
Okay. You won't find any tourists. They're all the people you just saw in that bar are probably here as working hotels or what have you. They're not tourists. And look at all these cabins. Bookings done here, not at the moment, I'm afraid. No bookings done here. All these cabins are locked up. Everything has closed down insofar as organising tours. This is where you come for a tour. There you go. You do half-day tours, full-day tours, afternoon, mornings. You've got all these options. There you go. South Sea Cruises. South Sea Cruises, along with Captain Cook, are one of the better known operators in Fiji and across the South Pacific. With all the concrete, I am drenched in sweat at the moment. Because the concrete is throwing off a lot of heat. And as if it isn't hot enough, at the moment it's even hotter. And these chaps are waving and saluting to me. Oh, sorry, are you fixing it, are you? Can I come across? Oh, okay, sorry. Thank you, Russell. Thank you. This is something I haven't seen before. Presumably this is where they refuel. Okay, I think that is where boats refuel. Look at it, you got all these boats that are moored here. You've got some of these smaller boats over here, and you've got as I said earlier, you've got a super yacht over in the distance there. Sorry, excuse me again. Thank you. Back up. So here we go. Onto the mainland. Should you drop something? No.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. How are you? Bulla, how are you doing? Are you going out to the islands?
Yes.
Are you working there? Oh, okay. No, just visiting? Oh, okay. It's very slack at the moment, isn't it, eh? There's no business, eh? Okay. Thank you, dear. Oh, fruit shop just over on my left. Yeah, like I said, nothing is going on. It's apart from the few people that are milling about and going off to the islands and running a few shops here and there. It's very quiet. Very quiet. Okay. This is another. This is where you normally do your bookings, but at the moment there are no bookings to be had for anything. No tours. Well, there is just the odd tour, but apart from that, there's very little going on. What was that? And so, what was that? Vodafone 50% off. So, this is Port Denarau. As I said, this is Port Denarau, as I said earlier, and we'll go and have a look at some of these hotels and see what the situation is with the hotels. As I said, all the best hotels in Fiji are located here in this area, not in the immediate area, but just a few minutes away. That's where all the major hotels. This is the tourist hub of Fiji. This is where it all happens, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing going on. But anyway, we're going to have a look at some of these hotels. Okay guys, I've had a hefty lunch and I'm back vlogging, and I'm at one of the hotels in Denarau, and this is really a sight for sore eyes. Normally you will see tourists absolutely packed out. Here, I'm at the Hilton, and normally you will see tourists packed out here. This is what it's like at the moment. It should be full of tourists, Australians, New Zealanders, by the swimming pool or by the beach just over there, but there's nobody around. They're just these locals who are making use of the facilities, but apart from that there is no one around. This is just empty. This is the Hilton and it is empty. So I think they've taken a bit of time to do some refurbishing. So all that's going on over there. They've taken the opportunity during the pandemic. This is all the Hilton. I will show you some more hotels a little bit further on. But this is all the Hilton. And the Hilton is absolutely quiet. There are no tourists. There are some locals that are staying here. I came a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago in fact, and there was zero occupancy. I spoke to a member of staff. They were busy last weekend. It's the 17th of December, so they were busy last weekend. There was something going on last weekend, so they were busy with locals staying here, probably at a heavily discounted rate, so trying to get some business in and keep things running along, just ticking over for the time being. But so far as tourists coming from overseas, there are absolutely nil tourists. This is another swimming pool. We'll have a look along the beach. Normally you see deck chairs laid out along the beach. And there it is, that's the beach. I should mention that I came just before Christmas last year. I came to this resort in 2019 and there were people everywhere. There were deck chairs along the beach, there were people that swimming. But now there is only silence insofar as tourists are concerned. And look at that beach. The beach is completely empty, devoid of any tourists. That is the beach at the Hilton Resort in Denarau. And it's a story that you will find repeated across the length and breadth of this stretch of Nadi in Fiji. This stretch of Nadi, Fiji, here at Denarau, where all the hotels, all the best hotels in Fiji are located, are quiet, except for refurbishment. There's a bit of banging that's going on over there. There are some locals. I ran into some locals who were staying here, but that's just about it really. Statue of the Buddha. That's what you need in times like this. You need to have a calm temperament, an even disposition. You need inner calm, peace to deal with this quite unexpected and bizarrely unanticipated situation of Covid-19, the pandemic. Let's just have a quick look down here. Okay, there are the villas on my left. That's the beachfront along the beachfront, the Hilton beachfront. No tourists, no bathers, just a quite surreal scene at the moment. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Sofitel. I was going to take you inside to show you what it's like, but then they're not even open. I spoke to somebody at the Hilton and they said they are opening next week on the 19th, just in time for Christmas, but this is unprecedented. They have never been closed, and they especially not this time of the year. I mean, they've never been closed anyway, but I mean, to be closed at this time of year during the peak tourist season says a lot about how this pandemic has blown away the safety net of tourism in Fiji. Look at it. Just look at it. Just a barrier, and beyond is the Sofitel with a Christmas tree, but nothing going on. Okay. After the Hilton and the Sofitel, This is the third of the big name hotels. This is the Westin. This is the Westin. Got this little pond in the front, a thatched buoy at the entrance. So this is the Westin, and again, the silence is deafening. Just got some music, but no chitter chatter of tourists, no visitors waiting to check in or go out on tours to islands on cruises. Buenos dias, how are you? Where's Asea?
Sorry?
Asea.
He is on day off today.
Oh, okay. Can I would I be able to get some ice water from over there, darling?
On the left hand side.
Okay, it's so thirsty, it's so hot. Thanks, dear. The Westin has a lovely Christmas tree. Very nice Christmas tree. So this is it, this is the Westin. And like the other two we just visited, the Westin is quiet. Surprise, surprise. Got the restaurant area, minus guests. Still not salt, but not the salt. Got this lovely thatched buoy at the entrance to the restaurant. But total silence. Don't worry, that's okay. Look at that pristine beachfront. They've even got a cord to prevent people. I suppose that's always been like that. Oh, okay. It's there isn't much of a beach here anyway because they've got these rocks. But anyway, that's the Westin. Again, nobody around, just hotel staff and the odd guest who happens to be a local. And it's a very eerie situation. I love that view, by the way. I love this view over into the distance. Look at that view; it's just spectacular. Normally, this time of the year, you'd likely see people playing volleyball here on this court here, but nope. Nobody in the villas. Don't see any activity. So that's the Westin. Hello, boss. How are you? Good. That's the Westin. And we're heading back into the main part of the Westin, so I can get some water because I'm absolutely parched and drained and I'm so hot. Hello, boss. How are you, dear? Okay, I'm here at the Westin coffee shop. Is that the coffee shop?
This is the bakery.
This is the bakery. Okay, this is the bakery, but it's also like you can have a coffee here and all the rest of it. Okay, I'm here with Queenie, and Queenie's going to tell us how bad the situation is here at the Westin with the lack of tourists. Queenie, over to you. How bad are things?
all that I can say, it's just not like that we used to have before.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's not that much guests used to have. So it's really difficult, but we really missed it.
And it's
This time of the year, we normally have the busiest time out of
exactly.
all.
This is the
And
tourist
we really
peak.
missed it,
Yeah, this is the peak, isn't it? Eh?
the peak period.
Yeah. And it's just empty, isn't it? Eh? Nobody here at all.
It's just like a ghost town.
Yeah, exactly. That's what in fact, earlier I described it. I went to Port Denarau and I said it was like a ghost town.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from the few locals and the shops, some of the shops are open.
Yeah.
But apart from that, all the cruise ships are moored in anchor. You know, they're not going out to the islands. It's sad, isn't it? Eh?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Queenie. I appreciate that. Thank you, dear. Now this is the Sheraton, and I'd like to show you what's going on at the Sheraton. But like the Sofitel, this has closed temporarily because of the pandemic, and they've taken the opportunity to do some refurbishment. So that's the Sheraton. This is probably one of the biggest hotels here in Denarau and Nadi, and sadly it is closed, and they are using the opportunity to do the place up a bit. But anyway, just beside the Sheraton are this parade of shops, and every single one of them is closed. Every single one of them is closed and empty. They're all closed because there is no excuse me, I beg your pardon. There are no tourists here at the moment. There's no point in keeping these shops open when there aren't any tourists. And that's the main stretch of road, which is a private road, accessible for people visiting Denarau and staying in the hotels. This is the one wing of the Sheraton, which I think is a suite of private apartments, if I'm not mistaken. So that's that's it. This is the Sheraton, one of the biggest operators in Fiji, and it is closed. That's a Sheraton, well and truly closed. And these shops that were visited by tourists, well, they've had to pack up and go. No point continuing a business when you haven't got any. There's a GoPro shop here somewhere, or at least a shop that sells GoPro accessories. Anyway, yeah. So that's it. That's the Sheraton. There's not a great deal happening there. This whole area over here, at this time of year, you'll see tourists walking along the footpath and visiting restaurants and bars and just ambling along on these grassy areas here. All that is gone for the time being, until the world can get a handle on the pandemic. That's not which I think it's probably going to be sometime soon, because they've got the vaccine. But for the time being, Heineken House, which is just across the road from the Sheraton, and just about everywhere you can see, this is the Denarau Golf and Racquet Club. Nothing, absolutely nothing going on. Just the odd car driving past. But No visitors from outside. There's my car over there. Some more shops just over there, and they're probably, oh, I think they're restaurants and cafes belonging to the Sheraton anyway, but they're all closed. And that's it. Okay, another big name hotel, the Radisson, with these reindeers. These reindeers in the front here looking very clever idea. So we're at the Radisson. They're in the Christmas spirit, they've got the reindeers. Let's see what they're like in terms of how busy they are. Yeah, so this is the Radisson, as you can see. It's called the Radisson Blue. It's just a few, about 300 metres along from the Sheraton. Although I drove here because it's just too hot. So this is the Radisson. We're about to see what the situation here is in terms of tourists and visitors. Got a lovely Christmas tree. We've got a beautiful Christmas tree. They're looking very festive, but no tourists. Don't see any drawback. Got this snow scene. That Christmas tree looks very nice. And they've got so we're actually in the main foyer, which leads off through these various wings to rooms, and over in the distance you've got this strange feature. I don't know what that's all about, but anyway. Lots of locals, no tourists, and I think they're just about surviving, or perhaps they're not surviving, perhaps they're taking a loss, but it is very quiet. The beach is down there somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the beach, but this strange megalith, this feature here, which actually I know what it is. It's oh, okay, maybe it's a children's swimming pool. Maybe it's just some sort of water feature. So this is a spa. I've got a spa here. And I don't suppose they've got many guests, many people using the spa at the moment. But yeah, you've got the accommodation over here on the right. You've got all this winding path, which is just off which these bushes and plants and what have you. Sorry, boss, how are you? Okay?
I'm good. How are you?
How's the situation at the moment with no tourists, eh?
Yeah, it's good to come.
Yeah.
We have something to do.
Okay, yeah. You have to do your job, don't you? You have to keep working.
But lucky, this hotel has been operating now.
Oh, okay, it's been operating throughout because the Sheraton is closed.
Yeah.
The Westin is open, but the Sofitel is closed, isn't it?
See.
But you guys are operating, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you haven't been closed at all, have you?
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, okay. You have. Okay. So and most of these people who are staying here would be locals, wouldn't they? Yeah.
They're local here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Bossel. Thank you very much. So there is a bit of life here, but it's all about locals, which is good. I'm sure they're getting a very good rate, and it's nice. It's nice to see locals enjoying themselves. Of course, there are no tourists, but I suppose locals are always tourists. They're their own form of tour. They do their own form of tourism. But a couple of youngsters over there taking a selfie. And this is the beachfront here. Unlike the Sheraton, which has a sandy beachfront, you can actually go out onto the beach at the Sheraton. You can't do that here or at the Westin. So there you have it. This is your main man, drenched in sweat pouring off his face, giving you some idea what it's like in Fiji, in the main tourist hub during a pandemic. Even though we're not affected by the pandemic, I say we're not affected, we don't have any cases of Covid-19 in the community. Nevertheless, we are affected by the global situation. Sorry, I'm trying to figure my way out of this maze. I think I'm going the wrong way. So there you have it. This is the Radisson. And that, sadly, is the state of play in this stretch of hotels here at Denarau in Nadi. Very dire situation. Perhaps it isn't as bad as I thought it'd be. There are lots of locals staying at places like the Radisson and the Westin and the Sofitel. Not the Sofitel. Yeah, but anyway, there are lots of locals staying here, and it's kind of livened the place up a bit. But that's it. That's the situation with Fiji and tourism during the COVID-19 pandemic. Until later, that's me signing off.